Are mother and father evolving in Raised by Wolves? Now, interesting topic, right? I mean, very, very interesting topic. If you've been watching Raised by Wolves, you probably would have noticed some changes happening throughout the season 1, from where they started to where they're ending up. And it does beg the question, are they evolving? Now, again, they are synthetics, and one is notably more complex in its design than the other. But yeah, I mean, as androids, it's weird. How can they evolve? But very clearly, very, very clearly, they are. So welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. If you're new here, please do hit subscribe. We're going to be taking a look at the season finale of Raised by Wolves and how it compares to the overall season and the character changes of mother and father. So we will be touching on some spoilers for the finale. So if you haven't watched it, then please do click off the video if you care. And if you don't care, well, we'll just dive right in, I guess. But there's your spoiler warning. And as I said, if you did hit subscribe, or if you're a returning subscriber, make sure you turn your bell notifications on, because YouTube likes to sandbox channels lately. So anyway, let's dive right in, shall we? So, when we opened the season 1 of Raised by Wolves, mother and father were very programmed. Everything they said, everything they did was an algorithmic program. They were very stuck in their ways. They were very robotic. And as the season has progressed, each and every episode, there has been an opportunity where each android has shown something a little bit more akin to emotion. Now, a lot of people would probably point out the fact that, well, she's a necromancer. She is an incredibly complex being, and she was also designed or reprogrammed to actually care, or at the very least, as they have stated in the show, to replicate emotion. Now, the writer of this show has made a very key point throughout the season in the dialogue to actually show and state that the synthetics, the androids, are actually showing emotion only for the benefit of the children. Now, that has been actually key dialogue during the season. So we know for a fact that at the very least in the early episodes around the children, the emotions that you would see that has been exhibited by the androids, mother and father, was nothing more than a simulation. It was simulated emotion. Now again, that's really important because they made a point to actually say that in the show itself. In the dialogue, they are simulated emotions. Now, as we've progressed throughout the season, there have been key moments here and there where they have actually revealed bits of emotion. Now, I call your thoughts back, wind it back, ladies and gents, to those moments where the mother and father androids were degrading. They'd experienced, I guess, their sort of life run. They knew that they were only going to be here for a set amount of time, and they were degrading. Now, ever since that point in time, it actually seems to me that that's the pivot point. That's the point at which they have then started to show emotion. Because outside of that, they weren't. It was all very, very simulated. Now, yes, after that point in time, because that was quite early on in the season, there have been the comments of simulated emotions and things like this, but they started to subtly exhibit it. Take father's sort of paranoia, for instance, where mother was going off. Now, paranoia is not a logical, algorithmic process. It's not something an android would feel. In fact, you could say that it's actually based in emotion. It's almost a fear. It's not believing someone on face value. Now, you could say that, yeah, algorithmically, one could say, oh, well, you know, logic would indicate that you wouldn't go this way, or it wouldn't take that long, etc., etc. But you wouldn't come to that perspective of paranoia, not to the degree that father did anyway. And then you have, of course, everything that Mother has been portraying recently, has been exhibiting. The comments of Campion, the love that she has randomly started to feel for Campion. This all started to progress and push, and it sort of snowballed towards this final episode, this season finale, where we had jealousy. We had jealousy. Again, in dialogue, very, very key in dialogue. So Father was jealous of Mother. He was angry with Mother. He actually said he believed he had fallen in love with Mother. And that if he'd wiped his memory banks, he wouldn't fall in love with this version of Mother. So that is very clearly emotion. He was jealous that Mother had obviously procreated with another being, and that it wasn't him. It was thought that obviously he was jealous of the baby, but it wasn't. It was jealousy of Mother being close to someone else because he loves Mother. And again, the very pivotal moment at the final episode where he said, "Let me do it. It would make me happy." Two things. Him doing something for himself because of a key emotion, happiness. No logic there, nothing thought out. He just wanted to do something to make himself happy. Now again, I focus in on Father because, of course, Mother's emotional change during the season was very, very obvious. But it was in the subtlety of Father that's where we start to see the evolution. And again, because remember, Father was not a complex synthetic. He's not an android that was, rebuilt from a necromancer or anything like this. If he had started to evolve, then obviously Mother had started to evolve. And then remember, towards the end, where they then go through and they start to comment on the fact that things were de-evolving or regressing. And then it begs the question, are things in reverse on this planet? I mean, you've got atheists turning religious, you've got religious people turning atheists, you've got androids gaining sentience and emotions, and you've got humans devolving. So yeah, are things in reverse on this strange planet? Because of course, how can an android gain sentience in that way? How can they gain emotion? How can they do this? And then, of course, again, how can the humanoids that were there regress and devolve? It doesn't make any sense. So I post this theory that, I think that they were evolving. And obviously, this is just a discussion video discussing the theory of evolution and things like that. But I would say absolutely categorically that the planet itself could be the cause for all of this. Now, I don't know whether it is even a planet, but I'm going to get on into another video as well, because I think that there's the potential this isn't a planet. I believe that the core is just simply dark photon energy and has been encased by something. Maybe anyway, maybe I'll explore that in another video. But what do you guys think? Did you notice the painstaking, slow slog of emotion that was just slowly coming out of these characters until it ramped up towards the very end where they very clearly were now emotional? Did you notice that? And did you notice the key points of simulated emotion in dialogue? Because I do think that was very importantly mentioned in dialogue by the characters to indicate that when they did actually feel emotion, that's what they were feeling and it wasn't just a simulation. I think that they did that on purpose. But let me know your thoughts down below. And if you have any other theories that you'd like me to dive into and discuss or flesh out, please do let me know your thoughts on all of that as well down below. Chuck some suggestions my way. There's a lot to unpack from this series, and I'm going to genuinely have some fun doing it. So expect a few more faceless videos such as this. If you did enjoy it, give it a big thumbs up because it tells me you want to see more, and that obviously, that's good. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching, guys. As always, I have been Mr. H. Take care.